Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the COP26 official side event, Rethinking and Reorganizing Action for Climate Empowerment, ACE, and the future of ACE COP26 decision. Today's event is being organized by the International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges in collaboration with Climates, with the Global Youth Development Institute, and with the University of Saskatchewan in the context of the Monitoring Climate Communication and Education Project, MECCE. So we are here to talk about Action for Climate Empowerment, this major program of the UNFCCC process for non-party stakeholder engagement. And this is very important in the context of the work that is being done at the COP26 on the follow-up to the Doha work program on climate action, education, training, access to information and public participation. And I'm delighted to invite now or to show the video of the UK COP26 presidency chief negotiator for these topics, for horizontal issues, Salka Sigurdardottir, and please watch the video.
Hi everyone, my name is Salka. I am the head of cross-cutting issues for the COP26 presidency. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you there live. I'm stuck in negotiations, as you may understand. And we're here in Glasgow now, and one of the things I have been the most excited about for this COP is negotiations on the review of the Doha Work Programme on Action for Climate Empowerment, which I'm going to talk a bit about. And parties are working to agree renewed principles for countries and stakeholders can empower all members of society to engage in climate action. And ACE is such a pivotal framework that brings together elements which are fundamental to achieving the goals of the Paris Agreement and the Convention, and it will help us enable inclusive climate ambition. For those not familiar with ACE, it's essentially the UNFCCC work stream that institutionalizes the fact that climate action is most effective when citizens have a chance to participate, understand, and have the right skills and education in relation to climate. It's mandated by Article 6 of the UNFCCC and Article 12 of the Paris Agreement. Now, we can't achieve Paris goals without public participation, public access to information, public awareness, because how else do we ensure broad buy-in into climate policies and initiatives? And how do we work to get broad ideas that work for everyone? And how else do we really work democratically to make sure everyone's views are reflected in how we shape climate policies? So to me, prioritizing ACE is really a no-brainer. Now, ACE is also recognized as being the work stream which most innovatively enables that party and non-party collaboration, which we in the COP26 presidency really admire. And virtual ACE consultations and expert groups to prep the negotiations over the past year have seen really high stakeholder participation and inputs from people like you, and I've seen how much parties welcome it, because our work plan on public engagement really benefits from an open process, and it's important to take advantage of the knowledge that exists in our communities and give people a say in shaping future policies. Also, if I may just reflect on the extraordinary circumstances we're organising this COP in, we've seen a new online platform and hybrid ways of communicating, just like this event. This transition to innovative forms of technology and communication and engagement to widen participation really embodies the spirit of ACE. So succeed in addressing the urgency of the climate crisis, we really must innovate and adapt and make new ways of engaging with society to ensure that citizens have the skills and information needed to make the right choices. Just to sum up, I mean, ensuring inclusive action for COP26 remains a really key priority for us, and the COP president has made that clear in his letters and speeches. And ACE really forms part of that really inclusive outcomes, and agreeing and enhanced work programs to guide our future work is important. And this isn't easy, as we can see right now. There are 8 years since the last work program was agreed, and there's a lot of work for parties to do. And we in the presidency face an unprecedented number of mandates taking over from 2020 and then mandates of 2021. So I'm really in awe of the AE co-facilitators and thank them for all the hard work, as well as the Secretariat and the SBI chair, because it's very much an SBI process. And we know success in ACE requires technical and collaborative process, and parties are working on that right now. And I need to jump back right into that room. So I'm sorry I can't be with you live, but thank you so much for organizing this event to say you are people that embody the spirit of ACE. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salka, doing a wonderful job really as ACE negotiator, and really it's obvious how much importance the UK COP26 presidency gives this topic, as it's transformative. And so we are now in a special situation that we have here now, because we had our side event on the 5th of November, and there it was the problem that the video signal has not been transferred to the YouTube channel of the UN Climate Change Secretariat. So we are now seeing some videos that have been taken on other occasions, but by the relevant stakeholders of the participants of the side event. At the side event for the Austrian side and for the institution which is funding the ACE-AT, Action for Climate Empowerment Innovation Project, ACE-AT. It has been the COP26 head of delegation in Glasgow who was speaking at our side event, and now we are filling this void in the UN Climate Change Secretariat YouTube channel video with a video from the Minister for Climate Action from Austria, which has been recorded for the Earth Day 2021 ACE-AT webinar in collaboration with UN Climate Change Secretariat. So you have the highest level, political level, talking about ACE-AT and rethinking and reorganizing ACE, and Leonore Gewessler, Minister of the for Climate Action of Austria, talking to you.
It is a pleasure for me to welcome you all participating in the webinar on Action for Climate Empowerment of the ACE-AT project. Climate change is about nothing less than the future of humanity on this planet. Therefore, it is an issue we all must collectively solve. The countries of the world recognize the critical need to address climate change. They recognize that it is a global challenge requiring a global solution. They expressed this recognition in the establishment of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And in 2015, the countries of the world once again came together to express the need for action and give more details on how they would take that action in their adoption of the Paris Climate Change Agreement. With respect to ACE, Article 12 of the Paris Agreement and its related Katowice climate package are the latest expressions of the high-level political consensus on the importance of fostering education, training, public awareness, public participation, public access to information, and international cooperation to address the climate crisis. Thus, ACE has a very special role and its own article under the Paris Agreement, as citizens provided with information can participate actively in the decision-making process. Only when people are informed, and more so, empowered, behavior can be changed towards a climate-resilient and climate-neutral society. Clearly, global action must be scaled up to match the urgency and intent in our international agreements. I believe that multilateralism is fundamental to address the climate crisis. We have seen a global movement of citizens and youth demanding climate action. It's heartening to see the increased awareness and the strenuous calls for action. We must respond to these calls for action. We cannot leave this responsibility on the shoulders of the young only. It's not on our children to save the world. We, the leaders of today, have the responsibility to engage all stakeholders in the climate solution. We need to act now for the present and the future generations. We have to keep strengthening our networks and our collaboration between different sectors of society, including governments, the private sector, international institutions, and citizens, to accelerate the implementation of the Paris Agreement. I am committed to support this agenda. Austria is actively engaged in promoting environmental education in schools, training programs, and seminars, as well as through campaigns and public awareness initiatives on climate change. With the Austrian ACE-AT project, we aim to profoundly encourage the fostering of international cooperation and engagement of all stakeholders in our response to the climate crisis. People around the world, especially youth, are demanding us that we achieve results, that we take action in accordance with what science tells us is required. We need ideas, best practices, and lessons learned from every segment of society, whether businesses, investors, regional and local leadership, and everyday people. Education, training, and awareness, alongside preparedness for the new global economy, are the first steps towards empowering people and raising our collective human and institutional capacity to take climate action. Let us support and enhance ACE. Education, training, public awareness, public participation, public access to information, and international cooperation in our response to climate change. We must also incentivize other actors, like the private sector, to do their share. We must shift finance flows at all levels to a net zero, climate resilient pathway. It is also our duty to support the poorest and most vulnerable, both around the globe and at home. Climate change is the challenge of the century. I'm encouraged by the new climate announcements made over the past few days, especially by the new NDC of the United States. I look forward to working with all of you to make ambitious climate action happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Gewessler, and it's really wonderful that Austria has this leadership in and open-mindedness regarding non-party stakeholder engagement, all of society empowerment, and providing also financial resources towards getting their new ideas developed and promoted. And the vehicle, the project plays a very important role in this is the ACE-AT project, Action for Climate Empowerment Innovation Project AT, which at the side event has been presented by the head of the Austrian COP26 delegation, Helmut Hoyeski, and myself. And let me briefly show you a video from a press conference in which we have then presented our IAAI and ECOS outcomes of the ACT project, and Helmut Hoyeski has also been speaking, as you know, that this video from the initial side event is not available, so let's watch this sequence from the press conference.
Delighted to welcome among us Dr. Helmut Hoyeski, the head of the Austrian COP26 delegation, and we've had together a very successful side event last week, and I'd be grateful if you could say also a few words what you think about having a formal structure for non-party stakeholder support in the context of Action for Climate Empowerment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miro. Thank you for attending, and I'm really pleased to be on this high-level podium here, and I'm really happy that our ACE-AT project is so well received, and we are really eager that ACE is broadened. We have now a decision that ACE will continue for the next 10 years, so the Glasgow Work Programme. So we can move on. Some said it could be a bit more prominent, but it's important that ACE continues, and we are really happy that we can continue. It's definitely important that we strengthen our global efforts and so to empower all members of society to engage in climate action in the ACE process, and this is the main purpose of our ACE-AT project, and I'm really happy that there's such a broad interest. And thank you very much to Miro for organizing the side event, organizing this press conference, and very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chojecki, and thanks for the support that Austria is providing for Action for Climate Empowerment, because this is the governance space where transformative change is possible, really by bringing non-party stakeholders in. That's the game changer. And
before we start with the ACE-AT project presentation, let me take the opportunity also to bring in Talieh Wögerbauer, the ACE-AT project coordinator, who was also the initiator and is the coordinator of the whole effort. And it's Talieh Wögerbauer is the national ACE focal point in Austria, but also the UNFCCC ACE ambassador. And without Talieh, there would have been no ACE-AT project. So Talieh, please.
Engagement for climate action. So now I would like to draw the attention to our ACE-AT project. Again, we are aiming bridging the cooperation and communication between parties and non-party stakeholders, especially because of the fact that the UNFCCC process has changed from a negotiating process to a more or less implementing process. It's now time to cooperate with everyone and non-party stakeholders in tackling climate change and climate action. And I think that we are on the right way to make non-party stakeholders visible, because it's amazing. It's really amazing what they are doing already beyond the process. And I think to connect with them as a party, but also to connect all these non-party stakeholders to each other would be quite valuable, because having such dialogues, it gives us insights what others are already doing, and we can support each other in tackling climate change. But I stop for now. Miro, please provide us with our details of our project. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Talieh, for your leadership. And here's some brief information about the project ACE-AT and the resource mobilization innovations that have been developed within this project by the team of IAAI and ECOS. So the challenge is clear: everyone, everywhere empowered to engage in climate action. And here, as we've heard, the Action for Climate Empowerment program of the UNFCCC is the governance space in which innovation is possible, and Austria has taken a lead on this. And this project, ACE-AT, has received 300,000 euros from the Austrian government, initiated, funded, and coordinated by the Federal Ministry for Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technology of the Republic of Austria, with the UNFCCC being the lead partner, and ECOS and IAAI. ECOS is the education, communication, and outreach stakeholder community within the UNFCCC process, managed through IAAI as the Austrian ECOS representative, and ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability Initiative. And the working areas, activity areas, and roles of partners: rethinking and reorganizing ACE for all of society, climate action empowerment, led by the UN Climate Change Secretariat, several core activities around mapping, coherence, connections with non-party stakeholders done also by the Secretariat. And the area where my organization has been taking the lead was working on an outcome towards a feasibility study and business plan for a global ACE non-party stakeholder support structure, an office which hopefully will get the status of a quasi-international organization in Austria, and secondly, resource mobilization innovation for ACE, and working on concepts for a digital global ACE platform, which will integrate with work that other stakeholders are doing in this field, and especially what the UN Climate Change Secretariat is doing in this field. So our focus has been on resource mobilization, because also in the context of the dialogue, dialogue of the UN FCCC process on ACE, stakeholders all over the world have said the key challenge is the lack of resources. And so we have said, let's look on systemic solutions, and let's look on solutions which don't ask public sector, which is under pressure anyway, to give more resources, to see how can we address and get financial resources from non-party stakeholders. And we have worked on this information from the UNCC-led consultations. We have a lot of expertise and concrete solutions, from setting up the GLOCHA Global Challenges Action Empowerment Network. And we've had also a research initiative within the Austrian Climate Research Program, where we've developed some kind of model for multi-stakeholder climate action coordination and incentivization innovation system. And based on this, we have then developed our suggestion for resource mobilization. And we have two flagship initiatives. One is Digital Art for Climate, framing individual climate action legacy building as a digital art or digital badges collection game. And that this kind of resource mobilization functions has been demonstrated by the Carbon Drop event, where Open Earth Foundation has raised $6.6 million with 7 NFTs, non-fungible tokens of digital art. And the second initiative, voluntary carbon footprint compensation, crypto stamps. We have worked on this also with ICLEI in the context of Innovate for Cities sessions and the Daring Cities conference. And the idea is starting from the initiative of the Austrian post authorities, which have been the leaders in issuing crypto stamps, that they have had, for instance, in June 2021, the third generation 3.0 of these crypto stamps, and they have published 100,000 pieces of it, each one costing 9.9 euros, and they have been sold out within the first day. And now our suggestion is that we work on a framework in which individuals feel the new societal standard, societal contract, ethical standard to compensate for their carbon footprint. Because if the world aims to be climate neutral, the individual needs to be climate neutral first, otherwise it will not work. And then to buy crypto stamps, starting with 1 ton of carbon footprint being 50 euros. On average, a European citizen has a carbon footprint of about 9 or 10 tons, so it would be 450, 500 euros per year. And with the crypto stamps, the individual can, the private key that comes with this crypto stamp, the individuals can co-decide where the money goes to. They can track where it goes to. Impact from funded projects can be attributed to those who are contributing resources. And this kind of systemic solution is really the key for all of society empowerment, and we hope that this can be included in the Action for Climate Empowerment Future Work Program, the Glasgow Work Program on ACE. And the whole solution space with this kind of individual solutions and having individual climate action dashboard apps, this only functions if there is an somehow embracing ecosystem, and for which builds the technological, the cultural, intellectual infrastructure and institutional infrastructure, so that people can collaborate effectively and in a trusted environment. And for this, blockchain technology plays a very important role, very enabling role for governance innovation. And so we have now organized and announced at COP26, the formation of United Citizens Organization for Action for Climate Empowerment as a blockchain-based structure using DAOs and NFTs, digital finance, and metaverse solutions for interaction, virtual participation in COPs and things like this. And please have a look on this. Just Google United Citizens Organization and you will find more information about this. And the potential beneficiaries of Action for Climate Empowerment, resource mobilization efforts of these United Citizens Organizations could be concrete youth projects. We can develop ACE marketplace for individual projects to be connected with resource holders based on data and impact and attribution of outcomes. Of course, it's important as a first step also to have setting up and investing in the intellectual, technological, and institutional infrastructure for this ecosystem to function. Then one idea is also that in the context of COP27, there could be supported, enhanced non-party stakeholder engagement of the COP27 presidency and a potential COP27 ACE co-presidency, like Italy had the status of a co-presidency with a focus on youth. So in an abstract understanding, one could say this was the first ACE COP co-presidency, and we hope this can be expanded. And with this new understanding that non-party stakeholders can make it happen with their resources, and an ACE Youth Fund, which would then again be in an open participatory process, allocate funds for youth climate action, connected also with the ACE marketplace. And here is the link to more information about the ACE-AT project and the solutions that we have provided. And with this, I thank everyone, especially the Climate Change Secretariat tech team, for adding this sequence to the existing YouTube video of the side event.